people at my church, you can't get another divorce. Oh, yeah, I can. Oh, yeah, I can. Go around there. They got lawyers.
You know you can't get another divorce. People at my church, oh yeah. I can, oh yeah. I go around there, they got lawyers out here. I get enough. It looks like Steve Harvey is absolutely fed up with concealing his wife's sordid affairs. And the famous comedian is seriously thinking about ending his marriage, watching his wife playing him dirty and dragging his honest name through the mud. And he spilled the whole truth on the decades of deception and manipulation that he seemingly turned a blind eye to all because of Marjorie. And while it's clear that the tension in this family was bare for a long time, the main question now, will he show Marjorie mercy or finally give her the boot? And most tantalizing of all, if Steve ever dares to file for divorce, will Marjorie take the half of his millions? Well, buckle up guys, this gossip train is about to leave the station. And you won't want to miss a single scandalous detail that Steve has to say. But when you in a bad one, man, you just in a bad one, there ain't nothing you can do about that. You can stay in it if you want to cuss. So it's been a bit more than a few months after the headlines exploded with shocking details of Marjorie's steamy romance with a family bodyguard guard William Freeman. At first, there was only a loud boom and whispers. And even Steve Harvey addressed the rumors, making it clear that Marjorie was nothing less but a faithful Wi-Fi all these years. Just let me say, I'm fine. However, even Steve's clarifications didn't stop the gossip train from taking its full speed. And to people's shock, it turned out that Mrs. Harvey has been finding peace and pleasure in those muscled arms of the bodyguard for years. And Steve himself was allowing that. The delicious twist about Steve's full awareness of his wife's extramarital shenanigans was served up in early September. Steve's co-host Shirley Strawberry accidentally spilled the piping hot tea during a phone call with her incarcerated hubby, revealing how Steve is tiptoeing around his wife. If she was there, we probably wouldn't have been all over the house. He's scared. I knew I wasn't supposed to be in there. But he brought us in. The two lovebirds chatted about a colleague's forbidden romance. And it was oh so obvious that Steve was mighty nervous about the topic. And never in his life he wanted to upset Marjorie. No, I haven't seen her. But she looks good on her pictures. Oh, she ain't there. No, she's not there. If she was there, we probably wouldn't have been all over the house. Shirley's revelations ignited the rumors, revealing fresh, juicy information suggesting Steve could be influenced by Marjorie. She clearly has Steve's heart in her palm and knows he would do anything for his cherished wife. Steve once sweetly cried to Marjorie that he'd bring the whole world to her feet, if necessary. I told Marjorie, when we first got married, I said, babe, listen to me. I'll do anything for you. I'll give you the world. And boy, has he lived up to that promise. But the real nail-biter here is whether he'll continue to stand by her side, especially when you throw the jaw-dropping fortune, a cool $200 million, into the already simmering pot. Because you see, there was no prenup when they got married, as Steve himself stated back then. Before Marjorie, I had nothing, but when I married her, I had something. We didn't do a prep, because I knew she was the chick. Rumor has it that Marjorie might been playing the long con all along. The couple serendipitous meeting in 1990 back, when Steve was still married to his first wife. He was performing at the Comedy Zone Club and couldn't help but stop the show the moment Marjorie sauntered in. She walked into the comedy club, laid on the front row. The first word I said to Margie was, lady, I don't know who you are. I stopped the show. I said, I don't know who you are, but I'm going to marry you one day. It sounds like a fairy tale, right? Just don't forget that he was a married man with kids at the time, adding an extra layer of scandal to this spicy narrative. By a twist of fate, Steve Harvey and his wife eventually went their separate ways, with Steve initiating divorce proceedings in 1992. However, he and Marjorie got together more than a decade later thanks to that bodyguard in question. All that time seemed like a missed opportunity. But here's the kicker. Marjorie was no saint. Either she has been plotting the big entrance into Steve's life, and as it turned out, a trap. And if he wants you, then he knows what it's going to take for you. And that's what I call a very soft thread. Now this romance has been toxic from the start, but Steve, enchanted by Marjorie's spell, chose to turn a blind eye to everything that she has been doing all these years in guise. It seems like fans have no sympathy for him, as one person commented, "No matter what happens in a marriage, if you don't have a prenup set inside of the marriage, in case of a divorce, then she's more than likely able to take half of his things." And another user added, "Has anyone ever thought that Steve Harvey maybe?" The villain really cool, he treats those he hires like slaves, not just one employee, but all of them. So Marjorie's path of finding a place under the sun was a tough one. She has been married twice before ending up with Steve. And it's even reported that her first ex-husband is working on a autobiography that promised to expose his cunning wife's involvement in his illicit activities. But she needs to be called out for what she's done to this family. She has totally destroyed. So it's time to get back to that bodyguard. William's big break came when he was instrumental in getting Marjorie and Steve together. And there are now rumors that the two of them planned the entire thing. Marjorie released information about the cheating room and the Steve Harvey incident from the beginning, which coincided perfectly with their cutting strategy. Steve's second marriage was failing, so he took a break and went to Vegas for some soul-searching gambling and biving. There, his bodyguard and reliable friend made him an offer he couldn't turn down, because Steve loved to think back to that fateful moment when Big Boom convinced him to call Marjorie. "Look, the only time I've ever seen you happy was when you were with that woman," Steve said. It's a convenient twist, isn't it? Of course, it raises questions about why it was Big Boom who kept in touch with Marjorie all these years. But considering the swirling details, we already know the truth. So with Big Boom's help, Marjorie made a triumphant return to Steve's life, spelling the end of second marriage. Instead of trying to salvage his faltering marriage, Steve went on to reconnect with Marjorie. Coincidentally, no one already believes that I can't play with Mar, 'cause see Mare played too much now. In 2011, Mary began spreading rumors about Steve's ex-husband, including claims of multiple affairs during their marriage, including one with his current wife, Marjorie. I was emotional and I was distressed, which any woman would be, and any woman would have a right to be. Well, it looks like their entire marriage has been built on lying schemes and never-ending cheating. Mary Lee, Steve's second wife, said, "I was convinced that it was all part of Marjorie's cunning plan." Shirley de Leon, the woman, unable to control her tongue, is said to have revealed Margaret's double life to the world, exposing Harvey's greatest secret. Not only does Marjorie live in a separate wing of the house and is rarely seen in her husband's domain, but she also has her own spa and workout room, where she can go to get massages and work out every day. On top of all that, she is also accused of being the perpetrator of a humiliation. Symphony on her husband's show. Who can forget the infamous episode where Mrs. Harvey airballed her grievances about her husband before the entire country? His briefcase, if he's eating its food all over the house, and it's like, Steve, are you kidding me? So the million-dollar question is, why has Steve tolerated all of this for so long? It's obvious that Steve was duped into this marriage, and Harvey seems to be worried about his wealth, because having somehow convinced Margie that a divorce was unnecessary. And even if Mrs. Harvey's alleged affair is proven in court, Mrs. Harvey will profit handsomely, leaving Steve alone and broke while she rides into the sunset with a mysterious bodyguard that Life fans are now questioning whether Marjorie and her purported partner Freeman planned everything from the beginning. And it appears that bad Steve Harvey is compelled to put up with everything, including the obvious. But when you browse online, people seem to be saying that there isn't even the slightest sympathy for him or his issues. One user wrote that Steve deserves everything he gets, especially in light of the bees he pulled on Bernie's mat. And another said that Steve is a liar who doesn't accept the truth about who he is and who he married. Based on what we've just learned, Marjorie is no stranger to the complex web of hidden affairs and deceptive lies, so tell me what you think. In the meantime, don't forget to check out my